Yes.
So we completed this table right here on Friday. And
Some people
so,
said they didn't complete it.
some didn't complete it. Okay, I can wait another minute or so.
Okay, yeah, like, wait, like,
We'll go on from here.
It's left. Okay, now I need my.
Highlight first. Highlight.
So Brian, you like it better back there?
Yeah, I mean, it's more clear to see.
You said it's a little more clear. Okay.
Cameras in my way.
The camera's in your way a little bit.
Camera's not in my way whatsoever.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Like
One
I
thing you do, you can kind of, you need to move left, right a little
Yeah,
bit.
Lily.
Alternatively, you can always just
Always
leave.
move. Yeah, I will. You can always just.
Almost like move.
Yeah.
Just skip it.
And so we're ready to go on here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Press the start button.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back.
3, 2, 1. It's nice to
Back
have
then,
you
you know,
guys.
Subscribe to my YouTube channel.
I subscribe to it, by the way.
By the way, see, here's the thing about it, is I had like, before school started, I had like 2,497 subscribers. Now I have 2,511 subscribers. So I got 14 new subscribers, 14 new subscribers between before school and when school started. So I only got 14 new subscribers out of the deal. How did that happen?
You know what?
People aren't subscribing?
You guys, your famous. Hey, I have a YouTube as well. You should subscribe to that.
Oh, do you? Well, just so that let me know where it is. I'll do it. Yeah.
Brian Ochoa.
Brian Ochoa, it is? Okay.
Do you stream Tarkov?
Yeah.
Seriously?
I seriously do.
Seriously? do
I
it?
started it last year. That's
I'll check it out.
I stream on my.
Because how hard is it to subscribe to a YouTube channel?
It's pretty hard.
Go ahead and subscribe. I'll subscribe to you, Mr. Juro. Go ahead and
All right. So here we are. One type of notation that we talked about already is set notation. Now I want to go ahead and verbalize what this is, how we talk about this. What we do is we say X, and this vertical line segment, you verbalize that by saying such that. And here we say, this last part is, we say X is greater than or equal to 1. That's how we'd say it. And the way that comes out on a number line is like this. If we mark it at a number line at 1, then greater than or equal to 1 looks like this. And then to the right, it go like this. So that's what the thing looks like on number line notation.
Is it such that both the line and the second X? Or is
No, it's just the vertical line segment. Very good, Kim. That was a really good question. So I owe Kim too. I owe Kim and Emily. I owe a lot of these. So I need to fill that out.
we got to see, man? I've seen. Oh,
Kimberly and Emily.
we all know that ain't true, man. We know that ain't true, man. X is greater than or equal to 1. I think the only reason X is not so that like it is
By seeing everything.
All right, let's go on here. Questions on this?
No.
No, sir, I got it.
You're not done yet?
No, it's fine. You can
Go ahead, okay.
proceed.
Okay, next thing, interval notation. Here's an example of interval notation. And what it is, basically it's brackets and numbers and parentheses and a comma. That's all it is. And so what this would look like on a number line is this, that at -3 we would have this here, in 5.5. And then at -3, we would have this. What would we have at 5.5? Anybody? Yes, okay, so Kimberly is yet again distinguishing herself. Thank you, Kimberly.
Good job, Kimberly.
Said it first, but you
Okay, right? Does that make sense?
I think Maddie's lying too.
All right. Questions on this one?
Wait, why was that was all
Yeah, why is
reading
that?
then?
Yeah, so Charlie, I think, said it quite well, if I'm not mistaken. He said it cannot be equal to 5.5. So the parentheses is analogous to this open circle.
So it would be -3 is.
So the interval includes -3, but does not include 5.5.
So the one that's less is closer?
So it would be, it's less than or equal to 5.
I think it's the one that's like a cell, like.
Yeah, so Brian is trying to say it. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, is that how?
So Brian is saying like this, right?
-3 is less than or equal to.
But
Wait, what the?
So does the bracket mean that it's greater than or equal to what?
the bracket means greater than or equal to. Exactly.
I thought that open circle was
See, I never
that.
had a bracket and a parentheses.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's never happened.
Well, we have it today. So
That's just crazy.
yeah. What kind of interval do we call this? In your notes from yesterday, it told you what kind.
Infinite. Infinite.
It's an infinite interval.
It's a finite.
No, this is called a finite
Infinite.
interval.
Finite.
This is a finite interval.
I see, I knew it.
I said finite.
And it's in your notes from yesterday too.
So it's finite,
Finite
not finite.
Finite interval. Finite.
So it's not finite. It's not finite. The infinite.
Now, you might pronounce it differently. I pronounce it finite.
That's a good way to pronounce it. I like that.
What is the Google translation? The Google, or like, how do they, does it say finite?
Finite.
Does Google say finite or?
Finite.
Well, what it is basically, how did I learn to pronounce finite? From listening to other
You read it.
teachers,
Oh.
right?
I'm gonna assume that's right.
And by the way, as far as listening to other teachers, what do you think one of the things I do a lot of in
Talking.
preparation for teaching? I watch
Other
other
videos.
teachers talk about the subject. And I try to incorporate the best of them.
Are we streaming?
Well, we're not streaming, but we're recording.
Oh, okay.
I stream on MySpace.
So here's the next one here. We've got interval notation, this one here.
We just
And what does this thing look like here in inequality notation?
And that's infinite. Interval.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. So what is x is greater than or equal to -2, but less than?
What the heck?
So that's what it looks like in inequality notation. And then what does the thing look like in number line notation? -2, what happens at -2?
It just keeps going to the right.
Colored in circle, right? Okay, Jay.
Good job.
There's your credit right there.
Keeps
Jay
going.
Lee, man, teacher, that's all right. Yeah, and then going all the way to the right. And draw an arrow because lines never stop. Except that's not a line, it is it's half of a line,
Array.
half of a line, you said array.
Of me
Array.
right here.
Array.
I said
Yeah,
it.
it's like-
I said
Man,
it.
that's more extra credit.
I said it on a roll. Said that. She
Yeah.
said
What is
that.
going on for today?
I deserve extra credit.
She's a senior.
I'm a.
Okay,
What?
so anyway, what kind of interval do we call this?
Oh, you-
Infinite interval. And if you recall, infinite interval is one where one or both sides are going toward infinity, right? Okay, good. Now, here we have this one right here, another piece of interval notation. What is this one here going to look like on a number line?
It's gonna be switched around, so instead of like the,
Doesn't it go in the other way?
Going the other way, right? So let's go to 5 here. What happens at 5? Open circle, that was J. Lee, right? All right. And then going this way, right?
So if it's the number itself is negative, it's positive, it's positive, it's open.
Yeah, and let me tell you one thing that you have here. In the book, wherever there's infinity, they'll put a plus sign in front of it. When I write toward infinity, I usually don't put a plus sign in front. I usually just leave a negative sign out there. And so, but Kimberly, what was your question?
I was just asking if you have closer with the other ones, like, so you do it bigger.
Yeah, so what it is, no, it's because the open circle is analogous to a parentheses. If I can go ahead and rewrite this one, our closed circle, that I'm rewriting this one now, this is at -2, is analogous to a bracket. So your point is analogous to a bracket, your open circle looking thing, and what they call this, we call this a point discontinuity or a hole. That's another way of saying it, is this open circle thing. And that's analogous to a parentheses. So those are key things. In the different notations, we have to kind of keep track of what they are and figure out. So it takes some getting used to, right? This for you is a lot of new notation, isn't it? Okay, let's go on here. Inequality notation. X is greater than or equal to 1. And what is that going to look like on a number line? What happens at 1 on a number line?
Isn't it a closed circle?
Yeah, closed circle, right? And then a la, Spanish, right? This is a la derecha. Who said derecha? Derecha. Okay, very good. Izquierdo.
Bajo. Arriba.
Arriba.
Centro.
Oh, okay, very good. So the prepositional, man, good cross-curricular training going on here. All right, and what is this going to look like in interval notation? Okay, here it is in interval notation. 1, bracket 1, comma, infinity. That's interval notation of this. Okay. All right. Here's an example of interval notation right here. Okay. And are you ever going to have a bracket around infinity?
No.
No, you're not. Why not?
Because you have to have a
It's
parenthesis.
greater than.
Yeah, in this case, less than infinity, right? So is infinity really a number? No, it's something you go toward. And so if you ever see a test where a possible answer is like this, if you ever see a test with this on a test, what will you know?
It's wrong.
That is a wrong answer.
Can we correct tests in here?
Sometimes, I don't know, it sort of just depends on how it goes.
I'm an idiot like all the time.
So,
Okay,
do we do that on SAT?
Just get that extra. Keep singing it.
I haven't seen it that way. I haven't seen that's what they've tested for distinguishing on an, I haven't seen that on an SAT yet. But they possibly could. Okay. Now we are to copy and complete the table. So I'm going to spend some time going over a couple of these with you pretty quickly. we have number lines, and we're going to translate these number lines into different types of notation below. And in inequality notation, we have x is going to be greater than or equal to the value on the left, but less than or equal to the value on the right. Okay? So that's that one, that number line in set notation. No, in inequality notation. And set notation, what that looks like is you take a bracket and then you say x such that x is greater than or equal to -3, but less than or equal to 2. So you see what we do for this? Do you see what's common between inequality notation and set notation?
Yes.
Now you're just taking that inequality stuff and just plunking it right down inside those brackets. That's all that is.
That's all it is.
And finally, in interval notation, are we going to have brackets or parentheses for this? For interval notation.
Parentheses. Brackets.
We're actually going to have brackets here. Okay, so that's what that looks like. Questions on this? Michelle, are you okay on that? You see everything? All right. Charlie, can you see everything? All right. Now we are to this one on the right here. And this one here, in inequality notation, we have x is greater than -infinity and less than positive infinity. So I have a question for Sierra. Sierra, if you ever see this thing here on a test and you see something like this with greater than or equal to -infinity, less than or equal to infinity, what does that mean? Okay. Anybody else? It means it's a wrong answer because this is not possible. Okay? So this is the correct thing. This stuff here with that is incorrect.
Nothing's really greater than infinity.
But it's less, you really have nothing greater than, but less than infinity. Greater than -infinity. Right? That's what it is. In set notation, you can write this in set notation as x such that x is greater than -infinity and less than infinity. So you could write it like that. There is another way in set notation of writing this that I think is probably easier. But this is perfectly acceptable. You take the inequality notation, just plunk it down in set notation. But I'm going to show you something else you can do that's equally as good. You can put x such that x, and you put this e looking thing here, which means is an element of, then you put this thing here. This script, double script R. Have you ever seen that before?
Yes.
You have? So she's seen it before. Emily's seen it.
I've seen it. I think I've seen it in Algebra. Or maybe, I remember seeing it in this class. I don't know what it's for.
Yeah. That means what you would say is x such that x is an element of all real numbers. That's what that sideways e looking thing is. So that's a pretty easy way to write it. The book doesn't use this way much for writing it, but I find it's an easy way to write it. And this thing you could see on an SAT. Kimberly could see this on an SAT.
So what, is it just an R or do you?
It's an R, but it's like a double script R. It's like a bold R. That means all real numbers. Okay? You just write it like this.
It's too much.
Like this.
Oh.
Okay? So it's like a bold R.
What does it mean again?
All real numbers.
All real numbers.
All real numbers. Yeah. And finally, in interval notation,
Okay.
interval notation is going to be this. Okay? That's what that looks like in interval notation. Just, no, it's not. Class is still in session.
Oh, yeah.
Got 4 or 5 minutes left. Okay, what I want you to do is do this one right here on the right. Now the one on the left is the same as the one we did earlier. But this one here, I want to do that one. So we have inequality notation. We have x is greater than -3, but less than or equal to 2. Set notation will be what? Same thing, except with this other stuff, right? So -3 is less than x, which x is less than or equal to 2. And then close the bracket like this. And then interval notation is going to look like greater than -3, but less than or equal to 2. So that's what that looks like. Maddie, you're okay with this?
No.
Okay, we're going to be working on that a lot more tomorrow. Okay? And then the last ones we're probably going to do today are these. So here we have less than or equal to 2. So x is less than or equal to 2. And you can also make that and greater than -infinity. You could do that, but that's kind of redundant. So usually you'll just see it like this. Set notation, x such that x is less than or equal to 2. In interval notation, we have parentheses, -infinity, comma 2, and what goes at the end here? Bracket. Good catch. Okay, this one here, inequality notation. X is greater than 2. And then we have x such that x is greater than 2. And then finally, interval notation. Parentheses, 2, comma, infinity. What goes at the end here? Parentheses, which always happens there. And I think that's as far as we're going. I want to just take a peek here. Yeah, reflect.
Just take a look.
Reflect on number line. Yeah. So I think we're just going to, then we're going to do some reflection tomorrow, and then we're going to talk about end behavior, and then go on to exercises. So we take some notes beginning of class tomorrow, and then going into, that'll be,
Sir, have you met the